Hello, families and kids. We're so happy to have you here with us today. We've got a special journey planned, a journey of discovery, learning, and fun. Together, we'll be exploring some fascinating questions, and we promise you're going to love the answers too. First, we'll wander through the silent halls of museums and discover why they are so important. Then, we'll touch upon the varied types of rocks on our planet and the incredible stories they tell us about Earth's history. Next, we'll take a moment to say thank you to our bodies, appreciating all the amazing things they do for us every day. We'll also delve into our emotions, those feelings that make us laugh, cry, and everything in between, and how they contribute to our well-being. And finally, we'll learn about the simple act of covering our mouths when we cough and why it's so crucial for protecting others. Are you ready to start our fun-filled journey of learning? Here we go. First off, do you know why we have museums? Museums are special places that act like giant treasure chests. They hold and protect objects that tell us stories about our past, our culture, and the world around us. These objects could be anything from a dinosaur bone that's millions of years old to a painting made only a few decades ago. Think of museums as a time capsule, preserving the whispers of history and echoing them for us and future generations to hear. They're like a bridge that connects us to the past, allowing us to understand where we came from and how we've evolved over time. Now, there are different types of museums, each with its unique collection. History museums, for instance, house artifacts from different eras, telling us tales of what life was like years ago. Science museums, on the other hand, are filled with exhibits that explain the wonders of the universe and the marvels of technology. Then we have art museums, where we can appreciate the beauty and creativity of artists from different periods and cultures. Children's museums are another type that are super fun. They are designed to be interactive and engaging, and they help kids learn about the world in a playful way. And did you know there are even virtual museums that you can visit from the comfort of your own home? These museums are important because they help us learn. They provide us with knowledge that we can't get from a textbook. They're places where we can see, touch, and sometimes even smell history. They inspire us, make us think, and spark our curiosity. Museums also remind us of the achievements of those who came before us. They showcase human creativity and ingenuity. They help us appreciate the diversity and richness of different cultures. And most importantly, they make us realize that we are part of a long, fascinating story that's still being written. So, museums are like giant treasure chests, helping us remember and learn about the past. Isn't that fascinating? Ever wondered why there are different types of rocks around us? Our world is filled with a fascinating variety of rocks, each with its unique story. But have you ever thought about why we have different types of rocks? Well, it's all due to the magical process of the rock cycle that has been taking place over millions of years. Let's start with igneous rocks. These are born from fiery origins. When volcanoes erupt, they spew out hot molten material called magma. Once this magma cools down and solidifies, it forms igneous rocks. Granite and basalt are common examples of igneous rocks. Next, we have sedimentary rocks. These rocks are a bit like a history book of the Earth. They're formed over time as small pieces of older rocks, shells, pebbles, and other materials accumulate and get compacted together. These layers can tell us about the Earth's past, including the plants, animals, and climate of long ago. Sandstone and limestone are common examples of sedimentary rocks. Lastly, let's talk about metamorphic rocks. These are the transformers of the rock world. When igneous or sedimentary rocks are subjected to intense heat and pressure deep within the earth, they change into something new, a metamorphic rock. Marble and slate are examples of metamorphic rocks. So you see, rocks are not just inanimate objects lying around. They are dynamic and ever-changing, continually being formed, altered, and recycled. They hold clues about the Earth's history, from volcanic eruptions in ancient seas to the movement of continents. Just think about it. The granite countertop in your kitchen was once hot, flowing magma deep within the earth. The limestone buildings in your city were once under a sea teeming with life. The marble statue in the museum was once sediment at the bottom of an ancient sea, transformed by heat and pressure over millions of years. So each rock has its own story to tell about our wonderful Earth. How cool is that? Now let's talk about our bodies. Do you know why we should say thank you to them? Imagine your body as the most loyal friend you've ever had. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning to the time you close them at night, your body is working tirelessly for you. It's like a superhero, doing all sorts of amazing things without you even noticing. For instance, your heart is a dedicated worker, pumping blood around your body every second of the day to keep you alive. Your lungs are like two best friends, constantly taking in fresh air and sending out the stuff you don't need. Your stomach and intestines are hardworking chefs and cleaners, turning the food you eat into energy and then tidying up afterwards. And let's not forget your brain, the mastermind behind it all, coordinating everything and making sure you can think, learn, and remember. With all this hard work going on, doesn't it make sense to say thank you to our bodies? So how can we show gratitude to our bodies? Well, one of the best ways is by treating them well. This means eating a rainbow of fruits and vegetables, drinking plenty of water, moving and stretching regularly, and getting a good night's sleep. And don't forget about laughing and having fun. That's good for your body too. You can also say thank you to your body by listening to it. When you're tired, take a rest. When you're thirsty, have a drink. When you're feeling full, stop eating. Your body is pretty wise and it often tells you what it needs. Saying thank you to our bodies isn't just about being polite. It's about showing respect for this amazing machine that does so much for us. And when we respect our bodies, we're more likely to take good care of them. So, saying thank you to our bodies is a way of showing love and respect for all they do for us. Isn't that a nice thing to do? Have you ever wondered why we feel different emotions? It's a question that's as fascinating as it is complex. Emotions, you see, are our body's special way of responding to different situations. They're like the colors in a painting, giving depth and texture to our experiences, making our lives more vibrant and interesting. Let's think of emotions as signals. Just like a traffic light, they guide us, telling us when to go, when to stop, and when to be cautious. For instance, when we're happy, it's like a green light telling us that everything is going well. We feel light, joyful, and we're likely to spread that joy to others. Then there's sadness, like a red light. It's a signal that something is not quite right. We might feel down, maybe even cry, but that's okay. It's a natural response to loss or disappointment, and it helps us to heal and grow. Anger, on the other hand, is like a flashing yellow light. It warns us that something is bothering us. It might make us feel heated, ready to confront a problem. But remember, it's important to express anger in a healthy way, without hurting ourselves or others. Fear is another yellow light. It's our body's way of telling us that we might be in danger. It can make our hearts beat faster, preparing us to either face the danger or run away from it, a response we often call fight or flight. Then there's surprise, a sudden flash of light that comes when something unexpected happens. It can be a pleasant surprise or a shocking one, but either way, it makes our eyes widen and our hearts beat faster. And finally, we have disgust. It's a reaction to something we find unpleasant, like the taste of a food we don't like. It's a signal that tells us to avoid certain things for our own good. So, our emotions are like signals, telling us how we feel about what's happening around us. They're a very important part of being human. And remember, it's completely normal to experience a range of emotions, and it's okay to talk about them, because when we understand our emotions, we can navigate our lives with more confidence and compassion. Finally, do you know why we need to cover our mouths when we cough? Well, it's all about those sneaky tiny things called germs. Germs are so small that we can't see them with our eyes, but they're everywhere. When we cough, germs that might be lurking in our mouths can fly out into the air at an amazing speed, almost like invisible superheroes. But unlike superheroes, these germs can be villains, causing people who breathe them in to become sick. Now let's imagine you're in a room with your best friend and you suddenly need to cough. Without covering your mouth, those villainous germs can easily leap from you to your friend. Not such a nice gift to give, is it? That's why it's so important to cover our mouths when we cough. We're essentially putting up a shield, blocking those germs and protecting our friends and family from getting sick. So how should we cover our mouths? Well, the old-fashioned way is to use a handkerchief or tissue. You can also cough into the crook of your elbow, which is a neat trick because it keeps your hands clean and germ-free. And if you're wearing a mask, which is a super shield against germs, make sure to still cover your mouth when you cough. This way, we're doing our part to keep those germs from spreading. But what happens if you forget to cover your mouth? Well, it's never too late to learn and practice. Just remember, every time you cover your mouth when you cough, you're not only protecting others, but also showing respect and care for their health. It's a small gesture, but it can make a big difference. So covering our mouths when we cough is a simple way to show care for others. It's a small act with a big impact, don't you think? Wow, we've learned so much today, haven't we? We've discovered why museums are like time capsules, preserving stories and artifacts from different eras. We've understood that rocks are not just stones, but narrators of Earth's fascinating history. We've also learned to appreciate our bodies, to say thank you for all the amazing things they do for us every single day. And remember how we talked about our emotions? They're not just feelings, but signals that tell us about our well-being. And lastly, we learned why covering our mouths when we cough or sneeze is a simple, yet important act of kindness that helps protect others. Isn't it wonderful how every question leads us to new knowledge? So, don't stop asking questions. Keep that spark of curiosity alive. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. Good night, families and kids. Stay curious and keep exploring. Scene script. Hello everyone, we all buy things, right? But have you ever wondered why sometimes things cost more and sometimes they cost less? Well, it all boils down to two key factors: demand and supply. Now let's break these terms down. Demand is how much of something people want. For example, imagine a new superhero action figure has just hit the stores, and all the kids want one. The demand for this toy is high. On the other hand, supply refers to how much of something is available. If there are only a few superhero action figures in the store, the supply is low. Now here's where it gets interesting. The price of something, like our superhero action figure, can change depending on the relationship between demand and supply. Let's say it's a week before Christmas, and the superhero action figure is the most popular toy of the season. Every kid wants one under their Christmas tree, so the demand is sky high. However, the toy factory can only make so many action figures at a time, so the supply is low. In this case, because many people want the toy, but there aren't enough toys to go around, the price of the toy goes up. Now, imagine it's a few months after Christmas. The hype around the superhero action figure has died down, and not as many kids want it anymore. Maybe they're more interested in the latest video game now. So, the demand for the action figure is low. Meanwhile, the toy factory has made a lot of these action figures, and there are still plenty left in the stores. The supply is high. In this case, because not many people want the toy, but there are a lot of toys available, the price of the toy goes down. This is the basic principle of how demand and supply can affect prices. But remember, it doesn't just apply to toys. It applies to everything we buy, from the food we eat, to the clothes we wear, to the houses we live in. So why do businesses change their prices based on demand and supply? Well, it's all about balance. If a business has a lot of a product but not many people want it, they might lower the price to encourage people to buy it. On the flip side, if a lot of people want a product but there isn't much of it, a business might raise the price. This way, they can make the most of what they have and keep their business running smoothly. So, remember, prices can change based on how much people want something and how much of it is available. It's a fascinating dance of numbers and desires, and it's happening every time you shop. Now let's talk about something that might make you sneeze or itch: allergies. But why do we have them? Allergies are like little mix-ups in our body's defense system. You see, our bodies are designed to protect us from harmful things like viruses and bacteria. But sometimes, they get a little confused and think harmless things like pollen, pet hair, or certain foods are dangerous. When this happens, our bodies fight back, causing what we know as an allergic reaction. Let's imagine a scenario. It's a beautiful spring day and you're out in the park. But oh no, there's pollen in the air. For many people, this isn't a problem at all. But for some, their body sees that pollen as a threat. In response, their body releases chemicals to fight off the invader. One of these chemicals is called histamine. Histamine is like a little alarm bell that causes symptoms like sneezing, itching, and a runny nose. These are the signs that you're having an allergic reaction. Now you might be wondering why some people have allergies and others don't. Well, scientists believe it's a combination of your genes and your environment. If your parents have allergies, there's a chance you might have them too. And if you're exposed to certain things at a young age, like pet hair or pollen, you might be more likely to develop an allergy to them. But don't worry, having allergies isn't the end of the world. There are many ways to manage them. The simplest way is to avoid what causes your allergies. If you're allergic to cats, it might be best to admire them from a distance. If pollen is your nemesis, staying indoors on high pollen days can help. But we know avoiding allergens isn't always possible. That's where medicines come in. Antihistamines are medicines that stop histamine in its tracks, helping to ease those pesky allergy symptoms. There are also nasal sprays, eye drops, and even allergy shots that can help manage allergies. And remember, if you're not sure what's causing your allergies or how to manage them, it's always good to talk to a doctor. They can perform tests to find out what you're allergic to and recommend the best treatment for you. So, if you have allergies, remember there are ways to manage them, and it's always good to talk to a doctor if you're not sure. Have you ever thought about why we have bones? Well, they're pretty important. In fact, they play a crucial role in our body, much like the foundation of a house or the framework of a skyscraper. Without bones, we would be like a jellyfish, all squishy and shapeless. So, what are these roles that bones play? Let's dive in. Firstly, bones provide structure to our body. Picture this: a house without a strong foundation or a skyscraper without a steel framework. It would collapse, right? Similarly, our bones act as the framework for our body. They support us and hold us up, giving us our shape. From the tall giraffe to the small rabbit, every animal has a unique bone structure that gives them their distinct shape. Secondly, bones serve as a shield, protecting our vital organs. Imagine a knight going into a battle without a shield. Sounds dangerous, doesn't it? That's what life would be like without our bones. Our skull, for instance, is like a helmet protecting our brain. Our ribs form a cage around our heart and lungs, keeping them safe from harm. And it doesn't stop there. Bones also store essential minerals like calcium and phosphorus. Think of them as a bank, storing these minerals and releasing them into the body when we need them. This helps keep our body functioning smoothly. But that's not all. Our bones are also the reason we can move, jump, and dance. Yes, you heard that right. Bones work together with muscles to help us move. When a muscle contracts, it pulls on a bone. And voila! We move! Think of a puppeteer pulling on the strings of a puppet. The strings are like our muscles, and the puppet, well, that's us! And there's more. Inside our bones, in a spongy area called the bone marrow, new blood cells are produced. This is like a factory working round the clock to keep us healthy and strong. Have you ever broken a bone and seen it heal over time? That's because our bones are living, growing tissues that can repair themselves when damaged. It's like having a self-repairing car, isn't it fascinating? In a nutshell, our bones are like the superstars of our body, performing multiple roles, from giving us our shape to protecting our organs, aiding in movement, storing essential minerals, producing blood cells, and even repairing themselves. So the next time you're walking, jumping, or simply standing, remember it's all thanks to your bones. And the next time you drink a glass of milk or eat a piece of cheese, remember you're helping your bones stay strong and healthy. So our bones are really important. They help us move, protect us, and give our body its shape. So let's take a moment to appreciate these unsung heroes of our body, our bones. Look up! What do you see? Clouds, right? But why are there different types of clouds? Clouds are fascinating, aren't they? They're not just fluffy white decorations in the sky, they're actually a crucial part of our planet's weather system. Let's dive into the world of clouds. and learn how they contribute to weather patterns. So, first things first, what are clouds? Simply put, they're a collection of tiny water droplets or ice crystals suspended in the atmosphere. They form when warm, moist air rises, expands, and cools. As the air cools, the water vapor it carries condenses into visible droplets or ice, creating clouds. But not all clouds are created equal. There are several different types of clouds, each with its own unique characteristics and influence on weather patterns. First up, we have cumulus clouds. These are the fluffy, cotton-like clouds that we often see on a sunny day. They're usually a sign of calm weather, but when they grow larger and taller, they can transform into cumulonimbus clouds, the ones responsible for thunderstorms. Next, we have stratus clouds. These are the low, gray clouds that often cover the entire sky like a blanket. Stratus clouds are usually associated with overcast weather and can bring light rain or drizzle. Then we have cirrus clouds. These are thin, wispy clouds that form high in the sky. They're made of ice crystals and often indicate fair to pleasant weather. However, if they begin to cover the sky and thicken, it could be a sign that a weather change is on the way. Lastly, we have nimbostratus clouds. These are thick, dark clouds that cover the sky and bring continuous, steady rainfall. If you see nimbostratus clouds, it's a good idea to carry an umbrella. So how do clouds contribute to weather patterns? Well, clouds play a key role in the Earth's water cycle. They carry water from one place to another, and when conditions are right, they release that water as precipitation, like rain or snow. Clouds also help regulate the Earth's temperature. During the day, they reflect some of the sun's heat back into space, helping to keep the Earth cool. At night, they act like a blanket, trapping heat and keeping the Earth warm. Furthermore, by observing the types of clouds in the sky, we can get a pretty good idea of what the weather will be like. For example, if you see cumulonimbus clouds, you might want to prepare for a thunderstorm. If you see cirrus clouds, you can expect fair weather. So, the next time you look at the sky, remember, those clouds can tell you a lot about the weather. Finally, let's talk about something really old, fossils. But why do scientists study them? Well, imagine you're a detective, but instead of solving a crime, your job is to solve the mysteries of Earth's past. You're trying to figure out what plants and animals lived millions of years ago, what they looked like, and how they behaved. How would you do that? You'd need clues, right? That's where fossils come in. Fossils are remnants or impressions of plants, animals, and other organisms from the past that have been preserved in the Earth's crust. They can be actual parts of the organism, like bones or leaves, or they can be imprints, like the footprint of a dinosaur in the mud. Over time, these remains or imprints get buried under layers and layers of soil and rock, and if conditions are just right, they can last for millions of years. Now, you might be wondering how fossils can tell us about ancient plants. Well, it's all about the details. When a plant dies and becomes a fossil, it can preserve a lot of information. For example, the shape, size, and patterns on a leaf can tell scientists what kind of plant it was, how it grew, and even what the climate was like when it was alive. Let's take ferns, for example. Today, we see ferns thriving in damp, shady environments. So, if scientists find a fossil of a fern from millions of years ago, they can infer that the environment back then was probably quite damp and shady too. This can provide valuable insights into the Earth's ancient climates and ecosystems. Fossils are also crucial for understanding evolution. By comparing plant fossils from different time periods, scientists can track how plants have changed and adapted over millions of years. This can help us understand why certain plants look and behave the way they do today. For instance, did you know that some of the earliest plants on Earth were tiny and didn't have leaves or roots? By studying fossils, scientists have learned that over time, plants evolved to be taller and more complex, with roots to absorb water and nutrients, and leaves for photosynthesis. This evolution helped plants colonize more diverse environments, leading to the rich variety of plants we see today. So, fossils are not just cool old rocks. They're valuable clues that help scientists unlock the mysteries of Earth's past. They can tell us about the ancient plants that once covered our planet, the climates they lived in, and the evolutionary journey they've been on for millions of years. So, fossils are like a window to the past, helping scientists learn about plants and animals that lived long ago. They might be ancient, but they're still telling us new stories every day, and that's what makes them so exciting to study.